everybody. I'm with Gabe at Infinity Watch.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode here on Gabe Infinity Watch, right here on YouTube. So there hasn't been a whole lot of books coming out lately. It's been kind of dry and nothing too exciting the last couple of weeks. I haven't bought much lately, so really not much new in the realm of collecting hardcovers and omnibus and things like that to really talk about. So instead, let's go ahead and I'm going to talk about a review. I'm going to actually do a full-on review of a recent hardcover that I read. And that hardcover is going to be, or is, Detective Comics Deluxe from Rebirth. This is the Deluxe Volume 1 hardcover. So let's go ahead and talk about that. But first, let me just kind of get all the crazy things out of the way first. Hey, this is throughout the every other episode. Just, hey, please go ahead and subscribe, thumbs up, make a comment, do all that kind of stuff. If you enjoy these kind of reviews, just share it. And all that kind of good stuff. Give me feedback, everything like that. So let's kind of get that started up. But of course, subscribe, thumbs up. Check out the Omni Bros channel as well if you want more videos about what I've read or more videos about what other folks in the omnibus collectors community are thinking about and talking about these days. So we could do that as well. But with all that said and done, let's get to the actual topic at hand here, which is Detective Comics Rebirth Deluxe Volume 1. This is a great book. If you've never read any kind of Batman recently, I think this will be a good starting off point for just about anybody who is interested in Batman, especially with the new 52 stuff going. Oh, I'm sorry, new 52, man. I just traveled 5-6 years into the past. Anybody who's really interested in Rebirth and hasn't had a chance to really check out Batman recently. The main Batman title by Tom King is really taking off right now. But let's go ahead and let's talk about Detective. So this hardcover, here's kind of the front. I already showed you guys the side and the back of the dust jacket. Here is the awesome wraparound cover that they did on this hardcover as well. Love this painted image here of Batwoman. And then you have this awesome image of Batman as well on the back. And then all this blank white space. It's kind of a waste of space here. But either way, it doesn't really, take away from how great this image is they used on the hardcover. So, this Detective Comics Deluxe. This is going to collect, let's take a look here. This collects, okay, here it is. Issues 934 through 949. So that's 10 issues. That's a nice big chunk of comics in this hardcover. And again, the numbering's all weird. It's not like 1 through 10 or 1 through 12 or anything like that. Because it's Rebirth, DC went back to the original numbering for Detective Comics and a few other books as well, like Action. So it's 934 through 949. So that's, what's the math? 15 issues? That's a lot of good books. That's a lot of good reading for this hardcover. It's $34.99 retail cover price, but if you shop on Amazon or especially if you shop on InStockTrades.com, you should be able to get that for a whole lot cheaper. So the storyline, the basic premise of the storyline, someone is targeting Batman's allies in Gotham, young and untested heroes who model themselves after the Dark Knight, but don't yet have his training or resources. With the help of Batwoman, the Caped Crusader recruits these young vigilantes, training them to be a team worthy of Gotham's biggest threat. Red Robin, Spoiler, Orphan, and Clayface are the first heroes to get recruited, but can even a team inspired by Batman and trained by Batwoman take on an entire anti-vigilante army? Or will Batman's vision of a team of Bat heroes go down in flames? So, that's basically the outline of the story. Batman recruits, he finds out that there is like I said, a kind of an anti-vigilante military group. Like they're legitimately a militarized group out looking for Batwoman. Spoiler, you have Red Robin and Orphan, who is Cassandra Cain, who was Batgirl for a long time. Actually, one of my favorite Batgirl titles is that Cassandra Cain Bat title. I have it back here, the first trade paperback for that. So Batman realizes that there's this military group out for him and everybody else. So his idea is, let's bring them all together, train them, and make them a task force themselves. So he gets Batwoman to essentially run them through a Batwoman boot camp. Like legitimately, because she was in the military for an extremely long time and is a very decorated, honored military veteran. So Batman uses her skills to train everybody else. And Clayface is involved, and Clayface is really cool in this book. This is the Basil Clayface, so the more recent, up-to-date kind of Clayface. But so that's basically the main kind of set-off point for the story. Can't get into too much details really past that point. I'll get into some details, but this book, after about the first, I'm gonna say, I think it's in issue 2 or issue 3 of the storyline. Big twist, some backstabbing, some changes in familiar characters happen, and really cool stuff like that. So it all kind of starts off with Azrael. You all remember Azrael because he used to be a Batman, or the Batman, during Nightfall. Whether you like Nightfall or not, it happened. He was Batman for a long time. He gets beat up and assaulted and just gets his butt kicked by this militarized anti-Batman group. So these recruits that Batman forms up, they form up their own task group of Batman characters who also have their own Batcave called the Belfry. So that's where they meet up. That's where they do their training. That's where they have their table, literally a round table of Batman characters. So the art in this book is 90% done by Eddy Barrows. Wonderful, beautiful artwork in here. As you can see, let me show you some of this artwork. And what I like about the way he does his art is you have regular, a lot of times you have this just regular, normal pencil-lined artwork. But then he'll throw in these awesome, painted panels as well. This is a beautiful Clayface panel that he did here. So a lot of kind of great artwork and, mixed media and mixed, artwork abilities he is using with that as well. So throughout the training of these of this new Batman task force, like I said, there's some backstabbing, there's a lot of character twists. There's even some beautiful emotional moments too in here between characters. Spoiler, and Robin are dating in this book. So you have Stephanie Brown and Tim Drake who are dating. You got some great relationship builds up in there. So if you like that kind of character development, character moments, that's in here for you as well. And also, just like we said, this is 15 issues. But in the middle of the book, you get a total of about 3 storylines in this book. The first storyline is that anti-vigilante militarized group going after Batman and his new recruits. In the middle of it, you get 2 issues randomly thrown in here from Monsterman, which is that Batman crossover between Batman, Detective, Nightwing, and maybe another other title or so. I'm not positive. Really kind of breaks it up pretty bad in here. It's just in the middle of nowhere. You get these 2 issues of Batman. Or Monster, whatever it's called. Yeah, so you can totally just go ahead and skip those issues if you want. It's not going to really sacrifice your enjoyment of the overall story, because the next storyline that you get is another fantastic, great storyline. It is called, what is it called? Victims of the Batman. I'm lying. There's 4 stories in here. So you get the original story for the task force. You get the 2 issues of Monster Men. You get the 3rd book, which is okay. The first one's called Rise of the Batman. Then it's, like I said, the Monster Men books, which are whatever. And then you get a 3rd storyline, Victim Society. There it is. I needed to find that because I wanted to give this book or this storyline as much proper due respect as I could. So the Victim Syndicate. This one is a really good one as well. This is a group of Batman's original victims. So these are the people who are victims of Batman. Innocent people who were hurt during Batman's, saving other people and his exploits and dealing with the Joker, and even stuff in here about Clayface's first person he hurt after he became Clayface and stuff like that. So again, I keep saying this over and over again, but this is just a fantastic storyline about the struggle Batman has in his head on a daily basis. We've all heard and seen these stories of why is Batman doing this. He's hurting more people. How many people have to be hurt by Batman being Batman, or other people emulating and trying to be Batman? People like Stephanie Brown, Tim Drake, Jason Todd, everybody. We know what happened to him. So things like that really take place. That kind of idea and that touchstone happens a lot during this storyline of the Victim Syndicate. This Victim Syndicate wipes out the Batman. All those people who were trained by Batwoman just get destroyed by the people of the Victim Syndicate, who are just trying to convince Batman through ill-gotten means. They're really hurting other people to try and convince Batman, you need to stop being Batman and hurting other people. So that's the 3rd great story that you get in here. The final story, how much can I really get into? Because it's more of a Batwoman-centric story between her and her father, and the reasons why she started up being Batwoman, and her relationship with her father, her relationship with Bruce. And I'm looking through it. I don't want to spoil anything for you guys. So I want you guys to read this and enjoy the twists and the turns that we get through this storyline, or through this entire book in general. Here's a good page. Here's the title page for the last storyline, or the last issue for Batwoman Begins. This is about that. Again, it kind of touches back on that first storyline of that anti-vigilante militant group. And they have super trained soldiers as well. Almost kind of like how the Talons were. If you guys remember the Talons from Court of Owls and things like that. This group has super trained soldiers as well, who are keyed in to take down Batman and the Batman, Batwoman, Red Robin, spoiler, Clayface, all that stuff. So, another great story. And that's really about it when it comes down to the storylines in here. Again, you get great character moments. You get a lot of great stuff in here about Tim Drake and how smart he is. He has been my Robin since I started reading Batman comics in the late 80s, early 90s. He's very tech savvy in this series. The entire thing of the Batmen, their Batcave, which is called the Belfry, he completely reorganized that entire thing, which is super cool. He created the computer system and the computer security. They have it set up, which is really cool, where if the windows get broken, he has it set up where the windows can automatically be replaced, with slats. It's really cool. Things like that really gets into the idea of who Tim Drake is and his contribution to the group. Spoiler got some great moments in here, and her contributions to the group and her love for Tim as well. Orphan, Batgirl, Cassandra Cain, however you know her as. Not too many great moments in here. She's a very... I don't want to call her a mute because she does speak, but not very often. But she has some great action moments. Not too much on the character development yet. Hopefully that happens later on in other books. Or if you're looking for character moments of her, again, you could check out this Batgirl, The Silent Night trade paperback. Great stuff in here about Cassandra Cain, Batgirl. All right. So with all that said and done, slight criticisms. Let's talk about that. Very slight criticisms in this book, other than the whole 2-issue thing with the Monster Man kind of breaking up the series. The artwork by Eddy Barrows is, like I showed you guys, it's really beautiful, great stuff on here. There's a few parts and a few things on here that trip me up with his storytelling. I'm going to see if I can find a good example in here or not as I kind of talk about this, kind of fill in the dead air so it's not just me flipping through pages. There's a lot of 2-page spreads, not 2-page splashes. It's not like one big single image. He doesn't do any of that kind of stuff, really. A lot of 2-page spreads of talking moments. Not talking heads necessarily, but just characters interacting and talking between one another. And his storytelling kind of falls apart a little bit on there. Where, as I'm trying to read, it's 2 pages, right? So you go from one page to the next page all the way across to try and read. The storytelling story and his actions, or the way he draws the characters and the movement of the characters and things like that, usually needs to be done in a certain way where your eye follows from one page to the other page, as opposed to trying to read an entire page. You are meant to read across. But with the way he does some of these layouts, I will get lost and would read an entire page, and as I move over, I realize that the conversation was supposed to go this way and across. Hope that makes sense. As opposed to just reading it all here, I get confused and get lost and realize, crap, I got to reread everything over again, and now it makes sense by reading it across 2 pages. I'm trying to figure out a good page that demonstrates that, where that happened to me. But that happened to me, like, seriously, probably like a dozen different times, it feels like, where I got lost and confused, and then as I went to the next page, I go, oh, okay, so the conversation followed through the other page. That's really about the only criticism I have on these stories, on this entire book in general. Outside of that, I think if you are interested in Batman whatsoever, or if you've ever heard about this book and you were kind of on the fence about whether to pick it up or whether to check it out, I seriously give this full-on recommendation to check it out, 100%. I think this hooked me, like I said, within the first 2 or 3 issues. I was sold. I was completely enamored in this entire thing. I took this with me everywhere I went, and I dropped my kid off at school. I had to read it, there, while waiting to pick him up later, to Starbucks. This thing went with me everywhere I went because I just loved reading this story. So here we go. Detective Comics, Detective Comics Rebirth Deluxe Volume 1. I cannot wait for Volume 2 to come out. If you've read this, hit me up. We could discuss it. I'm trying to keep the spoilers to absolutely none in the comments if you want to comment on this, just out of respect out of everybody else, because I want everybody to read this and enjoy it. So, with all that said and done, I hope you guys enjoyed that review. And again, hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up, all that kind of great fun stuff. And I will see you guys around next time. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a great day.